I remember a time during my first few years of YouTube, like we're going back like 6 or 7 years, where I would post an update video every single week. Like every single week, I'd post a life update of some kind, you know? It's just crazy how different YouTube is now compared to what it was back then. You know, right now it's all about the click-through rate, the thumbnails, you know? It's like the thumbnail and the click-through rate comes before the content. Even Mr. Beast has said it. I can quite confidently say the scale of YouTube has completely changed. And I think that's where I started to get lost in my own YouTube career a few years ago. And what ultimately, alongside a few other things that I'll talk about, led me into a quarter life crisis at the age of 25. And if you give me 10 minutes right now, guys, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to me. From posting daily gaming videos 6 or 7 years ago with 500 views per video to only posting or trying to get content with 1 million views a video. Come from a small town in England, moved all the way across the planet to Los Angeles, young, making a lot of money, being in relationships with the wrong people. What actually happened? So I'm going to tell you, and I'm hoping that this 10 minutes can give you some insight. It can give you a bit of an idea of where I'm at now, where I'm looking to go. I just haven't spoken to you guys directly in such a long time, it feels like, and I miss that, and I miss that whole element of YouTube in general. The algorithm now is more and more attained to a Mr. Beast style of content that I think the algorithm itself has completely and utterly shifted into a vacuum of sucking that original fun and energy and hobby that was YouTube in the first place out of the platform. So first things first, I just want to start by saying hello. I hope everybody is doing incredibly amazing. I know we're facing tough times in the world right now, and we have been for a few years, from like the pandemic a couple years ago, and now moving into what seems to be like a large-scale economic recession, plus incredibly fast rising crime rates around the planet. Just crazy things going on. We've got people more depressed than they've ever been. Gaming has fallen into what seems like a endless pit of commercial shit, apart from a few games. But first things first, I just want to say I'm here. I'm back. I've refound my roots, I'd like to say. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with my content recently, but you can see that I've made a return, and I'm just sort of posting literally what I used to do. I used to post anything from whatever game I was playing, enjoying playing, and wanted to play, to comedic, entertaining videos that I like to entertain and make people laugh. That's what I do. So, like, I've returned to my roots in that essence, and you're going to see videos almost every other day from now moving forward, alongside a magnitude of other things that I've been working on in my personal life that I'm bringing into the light, such as a clothing brand. I spent 2 years just hardcore studying and training music, and have released my own music, and that's something that will continue over the long run of things. It's not a primary focus. It's another skill set that I sort of attained whilst I went through this quarter life crisis. So that's the first thing I wanted to say is I'm back. I'm here. I'm back on YouTube. I'm here to stay. YouTube is the thing that saved my life. It cured my depression. I was an anxious, depressed, not in a good place when I started YouTube 10 years ago. The channel is 10 years old as of this year. Happy 10-year anniversary. Can we get it in the comments? 10-year anniversary this year. We hit it in May. And, you know, I originally started making RuneScape videos, and now I'm about to make an old school RuneScape video as a one-off thing. It just strangely feels weird. 10 years is a long time, and it's gone by like that. Now, I originally started YouTube as a hobby. I didn't even make money from it in the first place. Like, my first video was me killing a boss on RuneScape with music behind it. My personality sort of came to the surface because of this platform. And it's upon reflecting back, it's pretty wild to see where I started and where I ended up a couple of years ago. And let's get straight into that now. So coming from a small town in the middle of the countryside in the UK, under my parents' roof, when things started to lift off with YouTube, I had a full-time career job. I've worked from voluntary work, as in no pay, to £3 an hour internships, to working my way all the way up to about £24,000 salary, which in the UK at the time, for my age, I was about 20 years old. It was really, really good. I bypassed university, but it was sort of unmatched compared to where YouTube ended up leading me. It led me down this path, this road of insane money, insane amounts of freedom, and I had no education about money. I had no education about purely living alone independently because I was under my parents' roof. So one thing led to another, and I think this happens to a large number of people. Everyone has to go through this stage of, even people like Mr. Beast have said it. When you make money, you start buying designer clothes, you start getting business class flights, you start doing this and that, and you're spending a lot of money on things that conservatively shouldn't really, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't. Put it this way, my perspective now is if you're spending $3,000 on a fucking hoodie, you're an idiot. You're a complete fucking idiot, right? That's my perspective now. Back then, I didn't know any better. I had a bunch of money. I just wanted to spend it. I'd never had that kind of money before, and I didn't really have the pure guidance either, because my parents, although they worked incredibly hard their whole lives and they gave me and my brother an incredibly nurturing and great upbringing, which I'm incredibly grateful for, they weren't making the money that I was making. So I didn't really have anyone to counsel me in that way, right? So things went a bit tits up. I moved to LA. I'm still here. I'm still in the big fight. When I moved here, I started to get into relationships with women where I would treat them incredibly overboard. I'd buy them things. I would pay their rent on occasion. I actually paid for multiple people's rents on occasion. I had no education on taxes or anything like that. I went straight into a $4,200 a month apartment. So the very beginning of LA until about 2 to 3 years in, shortly around about when my last relationship began, that whole Omegle sort of turn of events, I really came to a pinnacle, a peak of understanding. It's like the universe needed me to learn ultimately a huge picture, which I say is in the form of a quarter-life crisis, because suddenly my knowledge of relationships and love completely backfired on me, right? In my last relationship. My knowledge of success, money, and career completely backfired on me, and they were linked together. I had my relationship so involved in my career that when one tumbled and went down, that I was so emotionally invested in, the other came down with it. That was one of the biggest cock-ups I think that I had ever made. But at the end of the day, I don't regret any of it, because it led me on a inward journey of figuring out exactly what I needed to figure out in order to evolve, to learn, to progress, to then start making directions towards the next thing. And that's something that I've been figuring out for the last 2 years. And strangely enough, it's led me straight back here. It's led me straight back to where I was 10 years ago. And that is scary as fuck. But at the same time, it's very liberating. It feels like I've been here before, 10 years ago, except this time, I've already got an amazing community. I've already got an amazing past 10 years of growth, a platform. This time round, I have entirely new skill sets that I could never dream of having before. I can write music. I can sing. I've got many different passions for different things. Clothing, fashion. I remember making videos like 7 years ago going on about how I wanted to make a clothing line and run my own clothing brand. Outside of merchandise, I wanted my own line and I wanted to work on it. And that's something that it's about to happen right now, with nice clothing. In a weird way, I feel like everything that has happened leading up to this very point, the downfall of me, the downfall of Bucks from the relationships, the integration of relationships into my work, my hobby, what I am passionate about, my financial understandings and learnings. I made a lot of money and I lost all of it. I lost a lot of money. You know, all the crazy things that I bought back in the day, all the dumb clothes, the stupid shit, it's all gone. I sold all of it, you know? That's just not where my head is at anymore. My head now moving forward is about what I truly want to do. And it starts right here. The foundation is YouTube. The foundation is this YouTube channel. Bucks is the ultimate heart that will pump blood into everything else that I'm passionate about. But the leader of that passionate endeavor is YouTube. And it always has been. I want to move into more traditional things down the line, especially utilizing LA. I know I'm not done here yet. At some point, I've always known since I was a kid as well that I've wanted to act. I've wanted to be an actor. And shedding some real honesty here, I think I started to let fear run my mindset. Fear overtook everything that I was doing. I started only making videos that I knew would get views, right? That would attain to an algorithm, that would get specific click-through rates. That's the trap that I fell into, and it sucked the love and the original enjoyment I had for this. And it's taken so much personal growth and evolvement to eradicate that fear. Fuck the fear. And instead I've fallen back into the enjoyment of just creating in general. This is why I wanted to make this video, because I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy the element of community. I enjoy inspiring people where I can be. You know, I hope the recent sort of fitness journey that I've been on, I don't know if a bunch of you saw the body transformation video and what I'm doing, could inspire people as well to look after themselves, to take on challenges that, you know, really sometimes you need a bit of a push by someone. You might not even know this person, but something one day could just click and you're like, oh, you know what? Shit, I need to do that. I know this is going to be beneficial to myself in my life. I should be doing this. Why am I not doing this? So that being said, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I know exactly where I want to get to, where I want to be. There's a magnitude of things coming up that I'm extremely excited for. Including new games as well. You know, we've got Hogwarts Legacy around the corner. We've got a bunch of new types of content that are coming your way very, very, very fast. And it's strange just how excited I am to focus on what makes me happy and what I enjoy generally. And more importantly, I feel like I have some sort of duty to pass these very intense life lessons on to people that have supported me. You know, it's almost like a I give, you give kind of scenario. You give, I give. Now, the quarter-life crisis that I went through, I had some serious things surface, some very traumatic events in my early life before I started YouTube, that took, you know, 8 years to surface. From the point of me starting to enjoy and have a sense of direction in my life. 8 years later, suddenly, boom. Haha, not so fast. You've made it far, but you need to be humbled. The world works in mysterious ways, and I think that moving forward, you know, I'm just different. I'm a different person. I've got the same qualities and more than before. But in terms of what I can offer the world, I'm a different person now. And I feel like I've got more of a sense of purpose than I ever have. Even during the peak of my career so far on YouTube, when I was hitting 1 million views pretty much on every single video at one point, I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I didn't feel like I had achieved what I truly wanted to achieve, I wasn't truly happy. And again, it's because I was somewhat of a slave to A, an algorithm, B, this video needs to be this, with this click-through rate, with this thumbnail. I can't post this, it's not going to get views. I'd post something, and if it didn't get a certain amount of views, I would delete it. I would disrespect my own work because of a few fucking numbers, right? There's just been so much growth. Strangely, it feels like I've grown up with a bunch of you guys. You guys have grown up with me. You know, I started this shit 10 years ago when I was just 17. If anyone watching was literally there from day one, you would be 10 years older than you were. That's crazy to me. Even if you started watching me 5 years ago and you stumble across this video right now, you're 5 years older. If you were 18, you're now 23. You've grown into a man or a woman, an adult. And it feels like I have a sense of duty to give back things that I've learned in my own life, in my own progression so far, that may help people. It may help you. You know, it would be interesting. Leave a comment when you first found this channel. If you stumbled across this video right now, I want you to leave a comment about when you first found out about me and this channel. So to conclude this video, I hope there's been some kind of insight on what to do and what not to do and what to expect. I think growing up, especially if you are moving into making a lot of money at some point, or if you're chasing dreams or whatever it may be, there's certain things that may crop up and happen that will completely catch you off guard. But at the same time, I'm hoping I can let you know to prepare for it. I'm hoping I can let you know that it's normal, it's natural, it's a part of evolving, it's a part of progressing. You know, even when I look at some people that are massive right now, let's look at KSI or JJ, for example. Remember that period of time where he sort of just disappeared for a year? He put all of his profile pictures as just like a black circle. I think he privated like all of his videos, 1 billion plus views worth of stuff. He reevaluated his entire self, and he came back with new skill sets, an evolved person. And I think that is something that has happened to me when I was 25, 26, you know, from 2020. There's a bunch of stuff that in my own life I had to go through, and I had to learn, and I had to progress, and I had to evolve. And here we are now. So what can you expect moving forward? You can expect a plethora of content, a ton of new content. I'm going to be experimenting with new stuff, things that obviously I would like to perform well, but equally things that I will enjoy making. I like to make people laugh. I like to entertain people. That's who I am at the core. I want to make people have a better day than they're already having. It's as simple as that. So hopefully you can still stick with me. If you are a long-time subscriber, I will see you all in the next video, guys. For a bit of nostalgia, roll the outro.